Rise with Dr.Zee. Wake up and live. Rise in the morning. Rise in the morning. Your day just got started. Rise with Dr.Zee. Wake up and live.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. I see my early people have risen with me. Amaran, good morning. Deborah James Roberts, great having you on. Kathy, yes, good morning, good morning. Um, the rest of you, wake up, get some coffee or tea or something, and get yourself ready. Yes, Veronica, good morning, good morning, and get ready for the show because we have a great program for you planned today. Yes, Cassie, I see you. All right, so share the program, like us, and show us some love. Okay, now this morning I am very sober, you know even though I'm rising and I'm smiling, but certain things happened overnight, and we're going to get to that a little later in the show. But I want to pray for the healing of the nation this morning before we start. Morning, Miriam. Morning. Oh God, our Heavenly Father, we bring this nation to you, God. We are supposed to be one people under you, but God, we are not. And it is so starkly prevalent out there. When we look at what is happening, God, we ask your guidance for our people. We ask you to give us the answer because as of now, we do not know the answer. So we are dependent on you to lead us, show us what next to do, oh God. And Heavenly Father, just protect our young men, protect our young women, protect the ones who are standing out there, oh God, taking all that they have to take for those of us who are at home. But let us, the ones who are at home, for no reason think that we are immune from the situation. Let us realize that we too have to take a stand. But most of all, Lord, help us to let you have your way. As hard as it might sound, oh God, let us depend on you as you ask us to do, to guide us and to turn this thing around before it gets worse. So God, I just ask you to be with us on this show today. Help us that as we send positive vibes out there, that people would feel a little better in themselves. In thy precious name I pray. Amen. And amen. Yes. And so I'm going to give you a little inspirational thought for the day. Believe you can, and you're halfway there. Yeah. If you believe you can do something, you're halfway there. But if you tell yourself that you cannot do it, you will never get it done. So that positive attitude of yours is going to be what fuel you to get it done. Again, believe you can, and you're halfway there. Trust yourself. You have survived a lot, and you'll survive whatever is coming. Trust yourself. We have survived a lot. As a people, we have survived a lot. But we're still here. And just know that we'll survive whatever is coming. Whatever is coming, we'll survive. All of us are not out there on the front line, but the people that are standing out there are helping bring whatever is ailing us, and we know what it is. It's racism to the highest degree, and they're bringing it to the forefront. But help our people to do it in the right way. And again, we're going to talk a bit more about that a little later in the show. Yes, Judith and Gracelyn and Miriam, I see you guys. Good morning. Good morning. And you are on the Rise in the Morning with Dr.Zee show. Yes. So before we bring in our guests for today, I'm going to do the birthdays. And as we go along, if you have any birthday shout out or anniversary shout out, or even just to give a shout out to a friend or a neighbor, someone you think who needs that shout out this morning, put it up there and I will definitely get it out for you. But I want to give a special shout out this morning to my friend and our family across the pond. Um, Good morning to you guys, and good morning to those of you who are probably listening in Grenada and other parts of the world. Reverend Shay Goodman, her birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday to you. Sharon Rush, hers was on May 31st. That was Sunday. I hope you had an awesome time. And we have Dexter Frederick, Vicky Murrell, Judy Budget, who had their celebration yesterday. Happy belated birthday to you guys. But today we have Alicia Wilson and Simone Wilson celebrating today. So I hope you have something planned for today, even though we are still, most of us, I wouldn't say quarantine. That's a strong word. We on semi-lockdown. You can still plan something with your family and have a good time. So happy birthday to all of you. And yes, Rosemary Welch, good to see you. Judith, very, 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 very good. All right. So I'm going to be bringing to you this morning a lady that is well known in Grenada. And when you see her, I'm not going to tell you her name, but I'll tell you this much. Share this program because when she comes on, you're going to learn about something wonderful that she and her group is doing in Grenada for Grenadians, for our children who are our future. So we will be right back. You know what? I'll tell you who it is. It's Frances Purcell. She will be on with us in a very short while. So we'll be right back.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started.
Everybody rise.
Rise with Dr.Zee.
Everybody rise.
Wake up and live.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live. Everybody rise.
Rise in the morning.
Wake up and live.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started. Rise with Dr.Zee. Wake up and live.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live. Everybody rise. Wake up and live.
Yes, Lydia. Good morning. I see you. And Kathy says, happy birthday to all the birthday folks. Okay, so happy birthday again. Now we have Miss Frances Purcell, an accountant by profession with very strong community ties. She sits on the board of director of a community hospital while having affiliations with several long-term care facilities. Frances commits her time to working with the youth from all walks of life. In 2015, she came together with a group of alumni from various secondary schools throughout the island of Grenada to plan the first ever combined secondary school reunion, which was a huge success. And today, we are going to talk about two initiatives that was launched from this reunion. Welcome, Miss Frances Purcell.
Good morning, Zarina, and good morning to all our beautiful Grenadian people listening on the program at home in Grenada and here in the diaspora. And thank you, Zarina, for making this possible. Because with the quarantine or the lockdown, whatever we want to call it, or with the COVID times, um, everything is virtual, and we just we are delighted that we have gotten an opportunity to share our program.
And I want to say that it is a pleasure having you on. And I want you to give a little idea of what it is, what caused you guys to decide to do something like this program.
So very interesting. Pat Adams and myself have been lifelong friends, and we sat on the kitchen table in my house, and we said, let's do a reunion, a secondary school reunion, or a 40th anniversary reunion for the St. Joseph's Convent graduates of 1975. Um, that kind of tell you guys just how old I am, right? So and we quickly pivoted and said, no, 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 no. Let's do a combined secondary school reunion. Nobody has ever done this. Let us do a reunion that incorporates all of the secondary schools which existed on the island of Grenada during the 1970s. And the idea was born right there, and we ran with it. We reached out to friends and who all bought into the idea. We were living in all different parts of the world. We were living in England, Canada, different states in North America, and we planned this in we started our planning in October of 2014, and the event was held in July, August of 2015. So, I mean, we planned it in a little over 8 months, or a little under 8 months, and it was a huge success. And out of that reunion, these two initiatives were born. Read Across Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, which is an initiative for primary schools. It includes all 56 primary schools on the Tri-Island state, and it is really the largest single day celebration of reading on the island of Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. And the second initiative was the mentorship program, Paving a Path Forward, which is for a select number of kids out of the secondary schools on the Tri-Island state.
And Frances, just let people know how much primary schools we have in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. Give them a rough idea, and what you have done so far from 2015 to now.
So, as I said, we have 56 primary schools on the island, on the Tri-Island state. And when we launched the program in 2015, we had 1,200 students, which we arrived at that because the principals and teachers came together and selected the students from their school who they wanted to participate in that program, which was the launch in 2015. And we quickly decided that we wanted to incorporate every student in every primary school of the Tri-Island state. And hence we were we partnered with the Ministry of Education, who've been very supportive, and we did in 2016 we did the first national Read Across Day, which included all of the schools. It was not it, we had in 2015 we had a national day, but it did not include all of the students in all of the primary schools. But in 2016 we included all of the primary school students in every primary school in the Tri-Island state. And what we launched with that was we distributed 12,000 books in 2016. And what we did was every child at that time got a book to take home, and the schools got books to add to their school library. So that was awesome, and we were able to do that with the help, as I said, with the government of Grenada. Yes,
Frances,
yes, sorry.
Frances, one of the things that I remember growing up, we had a public library. and on the Carenage, and so we were able to go there to read and to look up things that we needed to for schools. But that public library has since closed a long time ago, and
Right.
so it is so awesome what you guys are doing, because that is showing that you care about the young minds who are our future.
Thank you. One of the reasons that we really engaged in that program, we were well aware of the fact that kids did not have the public library to go to anymore because it was
Mhm.
closed. But one of the things that really propelled us also was that we thought that the young people in the outer parishes were not encouraged to read or did not have reading material available to them. Both Pat and I are from outer parishes. Pat is from the parish of St. Patrick, and I am from the parish of St. David. So we were both passionate about taking and developing prolific readers on the outside parishes as well as the St. George's parish. So that's why we focused on this program or this initiative, inclusive of all the primary schools and all of the students. And as I said, every child gets a book to take home. As we distributed more and more books each year, we add children got two books rather than one book. And so I'm very delighted to say that the program is working. The principals of the schools are telling us that they're getting great results because their children always wanted to read, but they had no books available to them for reading. So I know that for a fact. I mean, and as I said, I am extremely passionate about the schools in St. David because that's where I was raised, and my mom was a school teacher in St. David's RC school. So I am very, my heart and soul is buried in St. David, as my friends call me Miss St. David. So I am very delighted to say that I'm very passionate about that. And what we do is just to tell you a little bit about how the program really runs. Um, we the books are shipped into Grenada. um, I'll give you a link later on of where you can get books. You can purchase books from Amazon and have it shipped to us, and a New York location, have it shipped to us, and we ship those books to New York. We collect books for people who work, teachers who work in libraries in the public school system, help us get books, and those books are collected and shipped. We've worked with Books for Africa, and this year we were delighted that Better World Books has joined us as a donor. And so this year we had already identified over 60,000 books for distribution for 2020. But COVID 19 had another plan in mind for us. So this was not to be.
And Francis, you said over 60,000 books. And it might seem like a lot, but there are a lot of schools and a lot of children that have to share in those books. And one of the things that I know that we spoke about is that you encourage the children when they get their own books, because you give them their own books, that they should actually recycle it with their friends, so that they not only have two books to read, but when they recycle it, they get another two from someone else, and that person get those two to read. So it is a great program. And I also want you, when you come back in, to talk about how important it is for kids to be able to read, because it also affects the way they write.
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, you know, reading, when you inspire
Mhm.
children to read, and when children become good readers, they become good leaders,
That's
and
right.
they learn to express themselves in ways that are important for them to become adults. So read, there's no substitute for good reading, and we encourage children to read and read whatever they love. I say that all the time. So we get all kinds of books. We get sports books. We get mystery books, we get, love stories, we get all kinds of things. Whatever the kids love to read, you encourage their reading, because reading is reading, and
Ah,
reading will develop the mind no matter what you read.
that is so true because sometimes we think about just giving the kids school books, but it is important to have their mind developed in other areas too. And if they like something, they will read. But if you keep giving them something that they don't necessarily like, or they just feel forced to, they probably might not read as much. So what Miss Purcell is saying is so true. You give them what they like to read, and so it encourages them to read.
So, let me just talk a little bit about how the program, the day, because as I said, it is the largest single day celebration of reading on the Tri-Island state.
Hmm.
So, what we do is we develop a program, and that same program is run concurrently throughout all of our 56 schools. Principals and teachers come together, and they add things to make the program more interesting to the young people, and that they would want to participate in it. Um, we we make it interactive, okay, for lack of another word. The reading process is very interactive, and what we do is we advertise and we encourage readers in the community, writers in the community, to be a part of it, be a part of the program. As a matter of fact, Pat and I, we decided that this year we were going to have introduce something called ambassadors to the Read Across program. And what these ambassadors would do is work with the principals to facilitate or improve on the program that they currently run. And it's very, 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 we got a great reception. Lots of people tuned in, sent us the email addresses, and on the island of Grenada, that they wanted to be a part of this, and they were going to take a day off from work and be a part of the reading program. And I was very excited because some of the schools are a bit weak in the program, some are not as weak. And as I said, um, Pat and I put a lot into the program, and she goes into St. Patrick, I go into St. David's. So I choose two schools. Pat sometimes do two or three schools. She's probably more energetic than I am. So she does sometimes three schools. I do two schools, and I do two schools for a very personal reason. I do St. Teresa's RC school, which is in Vincennes, which is where my father went to school, and that's where all of his relatives went to school. And I do St. David's RC because that's where I went to school, all of my siblings, and my mom taught at that school. So those are the reasons why, of course, very nostalgic reasons why I put a lot of energy into those schools. And the programs are great. You will see some of the pictures later on. But last year we had one of our students, alumni from St. David's RC School, who I went to school with. She now works at the Ministry of Education, and she did a great interactive piece on Brian Nancy, and it was awesome. So I'm saying this, so I'm putting it out there. So those of us who are in the diaspora, who would love to take part in something like that, think about 2021. Think about taking a trip to Grenada June 2021 so you could join us and become an ambassador to one of those 56 schools on the Tri-Island state. So, telling you about
Before you go on, I'm smiling because you talk about Bear Nancy. I have not heard about Bear Nancy in so many years, but it's good that we bringing back those traditions to the young people. So it was a good thing learning about Bear Nancy and all of those other stories,
yes, it was
and not losing that tradition is very good. Thank you so much, Frances, for
very
you guys thinking about that. Yes.
very, very good, very good. So the program, as I said, it's run for 3 hours from 9 to 12. Sometimes it goes on a little longer, and we start off with the anthem and a prayer, and then we have all the kids recite the pledge, the reading pledge, and then the theme for the year. Each year we choose a different theme for the Read Across program, and so the teachers are getting more and more enthused about it, and the more people that we get on board is the bigger the program gets, and the more books we can distribute, because it gives us energy to go out and get more books and more books and more books. And we get the books donated to us, and we raise money to pay for the shipment, which is it costs us money, because this year our books were coming from Better World Books, which is in Indiana. So we have to pay for trucking from Indiana to Miami to have the book shipped to Miami, from Miami to Grenada. So, for those of you who are interested in supporting the program, you can, contact Pat or I and find out how you can make a contribution to the cost of the shipping of those books.
Thank you so much. And one of the things I want the back office to do now is to put up a few of those pictures, and you can actually give an idea of where they were taken, and what happened in those areas. So can we have those pictures up, please?
Okay, there we go. The person sitting in the red, she was enacting the Brian Nancy story. And she has a group of kids right there. She's reading to them. And at some point she would get up and, do the antics of the Brian Nancy, and see the kids are listening attentively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This picture is taken at St. Teresa's, at St. Teresa's RC, which is Vincennes and Vincennes. This one is also in Vincennes, St. Teresa's RC. This is also St. Teresa's RC. This is the entire school right there that you're looking at.
Very, very good. And so I know that this is one of the schools you do. And so to see all of those kids there who are in this program, it is awesome. Now, we will take a look now at the mentorship program that you guys have going for the secondary school students.
So our mentorship program is called Paving a Path Forward. And again, what we did was we liaised with the principals of a few of the schools, and they identified kids. We wanted kids who had socioeconomic risk and academic risk. These were the kids we wanted to work with. So we started off with 10 kids from one of the schools in St. Andrews. And our goal was to assist these kids to graduation, which would be writing of the CXC exams, and possibly going on to TAMCC. And we were extremely successful. Every one of those kids completed the CXC exams with 5 passes or better, and were all able to go on to TAMCC. And they've completed their 2-year program successfully, received their associate's degrees, and all of them are working, making contributions to our society. And those kids were all at-risk kids. Probably 70% of them didn't have parents and were living with a grandparent or some other relative.
And Frances, we're going to hold that thought right there, because that's a very important part that you're bringing up now. And before we go there, we're going to take a studio break.
Okay.
Hey, did you know that the census is due this year on April 1st? And guess what? This time we can finally count as Caribbean. This year, all you have to do is 1, check the race box, and 2, write in your country of birth or ancestry. You can answer by the paper form, online, or by phone. Everybody counts in Census 2020. So count as Caribbean. Yes, we count.
Welcome back to Rise in the Morning with Dr. Z. I just wanted to point out a few things. We have someone who is sending out Happy Earth Strong to Bells, who celebrated birthday yesterday. And we have Kiki. Kiki says, Dr. Z, thank you for bringing Miss Frances Purcell to share and do something on a very critical issue that was affecting our Tri Island primary school children. And Rosemary Wells says, congratulations for your great contribution towards encouraging kids to love reading. And so we're going to continue now. Francis, you were talking about something that is so important for the listening audience to know.
Yeah. So my conversation was the kids that are in the mentorship program, as I was saying, those were kids that are all at risk, socioeconomic and academic risk. And socioeconomic, as I said, for a lot of reasons. A lot of these kids did not have parents, and the ones who had the parent was a single parent in the home, a mother. Um, and we had one particular kid, which is a whole other conversation. One other kid who was removed from her home because her stepfather was sleeping with her. So I mean that's a whole other conversation. But just to tell you the risk that some of these kids were exposed to, and so we worked with the kids together with the teachers and the principals of the schools. And as I said, all of these kids were taken to a graduation point at TAMCC. And we the mentors, the were very committed to seeing these kids through this process. And one of the things that we were having problems getting was our mentors, because we could mentees are one thing, but you have to have a mentor who's committed to working with these children and seeing them through the process of a high school graduation.
And Frances, one of the things when you place in a mentor with a mentee, you have to, you know, think about that person being able to deal with not only just the academic part of what is going on, but also to have a level of empathy for that child that you place them with.
So, one of the things that we had somebody who is a part of the alumni initiative, who
Mhm.
was exclusively responsible for recruiting the mentors, and she's a social worker by profession. She's a
Good.
MSW, and Meryl Sil Joseph, Wise Joseph, and so she did a terrific job with matching the mentors and the mentees, because
Excellent.
the mentees had to fill out a questionnaire with the assistance of the teachers, and so she used that to match the mentor mentee. So it was, we had a, a she was very professional. She's trained, so she was able to do this very effectively.
Excellent, excellent. And we have something else that is available to the high school students, and I would like you to talk a bit about it now. This Read with Malcolm.
Okay, so it's not just the high school students. It's available to every student K through 12,
Oh,
which means K through
beautiful,
12th grade.
beautiful,
So
beautiful.
it includes primary school students as well as secondary school students. And Malcolm Mitchell is an American. He was a football player, retired football player with the Atlanta Falcons. And the name of his organization is Share the Magic Foundation. Read with Malcolm, share the Magic Foundation. So my friend Pat happens to sit on that board, and so they've been really intrigued in the Read Across program, and they really wanted to be of assistance. So because of the COVID and kids not being able to go to summer camp, and kids are locked at home, he launched this program, Read with Malcolm, which was for kids in the United States. And we asked him if he was able to get them to to include global registration. So we have put this out to kids in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, and to parents that they can register their children. We've reached out to the principals of the high schools in Grenada, and we've reached out to the principals of the secondary schools, and we're reaching out to everyone in Grenada and in North America to register their kids. Read with Malcolm. It is a great virtual reading program, and just take a look at the website and you see how much information is on there and how well this program can affect change for our children, particularly in a time when they're locked in the house and there's nothing to do. So the site, the link is on the bottom of the screen, readwithmalcolm.com. You can log on there with your children, grandchildren, nieces, nephews, and walk them through the program and see what a great reading initiative it is.
And that's excellent. So you have your kids out there, no matter what age they are, whether they're in the pre-primary, primary, and I guess they have something for all the kids. Secondary, just go to the website and look it up and sign up where your kids should be. I know you would like to take this time to actually give a shout out to some of your sponsors, your major sponsors.
So we've had sponsors in Grenada. We've had but let me just go first with Better World Books and Books
Okay.
of Africa, who have given us books over the years. At St. George's University, who've been a huge sponsor of our program. Flo, Lime Grenada, Advantage Roofing, Grenada General Insurance, PAS Cargo, Francis Customs and Shipping Agents, Century 21 Grenada Limited, Republic Bank, Bernie's Playland, Caribbean International Shipping Services, Grenada Cooperative Bank, Grenada Public Service Credit Union, the Netherlands Insurance, and Spectre and Company. These have been some of our sponsors over the years, and you can make a contribution. You can log on to get more information about our program and to become an ambassador or to contribute in any way that you would like to. You can log on to our website, GrenadaAlumni.com, and you will get a lot of information of what we've done and what we plan to do in the future and how you can become a part of our initiative.
And Francis, the reading competition for primary schools, just give them a
Oh, yeah,
little
that's a great
idea
one.
of that. Yes.
Of course, when kids hear that they're going to be rewarded, they're going to be even more interested in taking part in what we're doing, and we reward the kids. It's we ask the schools to assist us, and the schools that who reads the most books and the students who read the most books are rewarded with gifts.
Gifts. And
Yes,
so I love gifts. I love gifts because I tell you something, gifts, it does encourage children.
yes, it
I
does.
had I had that done for me by my dad growing up and in school. Whenever I came first in tests, I got a gift, and I got some great gifts over the years. And so it encourages a child, and I'm speaking from experience. It encourages a child to do better because you want to get that gift at the end of the school year. So you'll do what you have to do diligently to make sure that you live up to what is expected of you. So it's great that you have these reading competition gifts, and you have three winning categories. You said winning school, winning classroom, and winning student. And I'm
Yes.
not going to ask what gifts you give them. What I would say to our listening audience out there, if you have a gift in mind for those kids, what should they do, Francis?
Read. If you have a gift in mind for these students, contact us.
That's right.
Contact contact us at Grenada Alumni, and get onto the website, and you would see you can contact us and let us know. Or if you don't want to do that, you can reach out to Pat Adams or myself, and tell us that you would like to be a part of this program, whether you want to contribute books or if you want to contribute cash. We are there, willing, ready, and able, because we are looking to expand this program and to encourage literacy in Grenada.
Very
Carriacou.
good. And Petit Martinique. So we're going to take a station break. And before you go, Francis, we are going to get into something else before we finish up.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started.
Everybody rise.
Rise with Dr.Zee.
Everybody rise.
Wake up and live.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live. Everybody rise.
Rise in the morning.
Wake up and live.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started. Rise with Dr.Zee. Wake up and live.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live. Everybody rise. Wake up and live.
Good morning, Listra. Yes, welcome back to the show. And, at some point in time, we have to take a stand. And we cannot remain silent when things are happening that affects us directly, affects our young men, and not only our young men, but our young women also. And we are in a state of crisis right now. And I just want to say, I stand with you. The only thing, and I know some people might not agree with me, but the violence and all of those things, I will say that they are unnecessary, because what I am noticing is that when you see the pictures of the police and the community coming together, hugging, kneeling together, it is so powerful. To me, it is very powerful. And I just want to say that at certain points in history, we have to do what we have to do in order to be heard and to be noticed, because in this 21st, 22nd century, we should not still be going through this. We should not, and I'm talking to the church here. The church, especially those mega church leaders, they have been uncharacteristically silent. This is not a time to be silent. This is a time for us to come together and try to effect some sort of change. Miss Purcell, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here, and I would
I
love to chime in on this.
Yes. Let me let you chime in.
Just to piggyback on what Dr. Z said, this is not a time to remain silent. We support, and the looting is totally destructive and counterproductive. The violence, likewise. Our message gets lost when we get involved in these unproductive matters.
Very
And
much so.
as most of the leaders have been saying, the mayors and otherwise from these cities, that this violence starts at a certain point. It's really not the protesters, because the protesting is very peaceful, and this violence begins at dawn, at dusk, I'm sorry. And it creates havoc, it's destructive. I mean, look at what happened in New York City last night. But let's go back to our message. America, it's time that we live in an equal America. Equal America. Because what has been going on over all of these years with African American males and females getting killed senselessly by police officers, which all could have been avoided. Mothers' hearts are filled. My heart is filled because I'm a mother of a young black man. So, and so I know what it is like. And I have nephews, I have people that I treat as my sons. And I every time they leave the house and they're outside, your heart is in your hand because you don't know if they're going to return. We can't live in an America like this anymore. And rather than us have a lead, we are lacking. America is in crisis, and we are lacking leadership right now. When you have a crisis of this magnitude, we are not even recovered from the pandemic of the caused by the coronavirus, and we are now faced with this crisis, which is unbelievable. You know, nothing, America has not seen this in years. I have been living in this country for 42 years, and I have never seen this. I didn't dream that I would ever live to see this happening. And rather than us have a leader who expresses empathy and tells us he understands. Let these young people know that he understands what they're going through and he's willing to work with them and he has suggestions and he's going to establish some kind of committees and some things to help with this thing. He does nothing. But rather than that, he has the police officers throw tear gas and rubber bullets at peaceful protesters,
Peaceful protesters. And you
peaceful
know,
protesters,
peaceful protesters.
to make a
Yeah,
mockery, Dr. Z, to make
yeah.
a mockery, to
Of the
walk,
church,
yes, to walk, clear the path so he can walk to the church and hold a Bible
which he didn't
upside
even know how to hold properly.
sided down. How
Unbelievable.
disrespectful. Where are the people who call themselves evangelical Christians? Where are our religious leaders who
That's
are
right.
supporting this man? Open your mouths and say something. This is too much. America is hurting. Americans are traumatized.
You know, and I'm going to put this out there. The criminals who are infiltrating the peaceful protests and causing chaos, please stop it. Yeah,
Yes.
stop it. You know, the instigators are the ones who are trying to change the narrative. And so they're given that narrative out there, which completely takes the focus off what happened. Too many of our people are being killed by police. We don't know if or brothers or sons or daughters, when they leave home, if they're coming back.
Wow.
Because for some reason, it just keeps happening over and over. And I have not said much on the subject, but today I feel that I have to, because at some point in time we have to stand up and we have to be counted and we have to say something about what is going on. You know, we have to realize that if we don't if we don't say something and we don't identify with the fact that we are definitely being dehumanized, there is serious racism going on out there. I have met it up on many of occasions, and um, I rose above it because some of us know how to put it behind us and rise above it. But there comes a time when we have to stand for something, or we'll stand for nothing.
Thing. Amen to that one.
June Paul says this effort is commendable. Hats off to you, Miss Purcell and Miss Adams, in encouraging the young ones to become great readers. And I just wanted to get us back there. But Frances, I am very proud of what you guys are doing, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to somehow join with you guys in some capacity or the other, because I too am an alumni of high schools, and I went to the St. George's Government School. That's my primary school, and Anglican High School and GBSS. And so I am very happy to know that we have green agents out there who are concerned about our young ones, our children, and the type of education, the type of things that they will be able to do and accomplish. Because I'm going to tell you this, Grenadians usually do well when they travel and go other places. Um, but this program is going to give them even more of, you know, the knowledge that they need, because reading is power.
It's power.
Reading is power. and
It
it's
is.
powerful.
Yeah.
And so, what are your last words for us, Ms. Purcell?
So, in closing, I'd like to say to everyone who's joined in and on the program, spread the word, and let us continue to inspire our children to actively engage in reading. It's gonna make a difference in their lives, and it's gonna make a difference in them becoming leaders of tomorrow. And let's invest in our children. They are the people of tomorrow. So I'm asking you and I'm urging you in some way, shape, or form to become a part of the Read Across Grenada Carriacou and PT Martinique and the Paving a Path Forward initiatives. They are worth the while, and you see rewards because our kids are successful. And we are seeing the rewards, as I said, of the Read Across program. The principals are telling us that their children have become so much better readers because there's material to read in those schools. So let us encourage each other to participate in this program. I know you get hit from left, right, and center from people asking to make contributions towards different initiatives. But this initiative is investing in our future. So it is well worth the while. So please, again, log on to our website and get as much information as you can get, as you would need on the Grenada Alumni Initiative. And also encourage your friends right here in the diaspora and at home, your friends and relatives, to log on to Read with Malcolm because it is a prolific reading initiative.
Thank you again, Ms. Purcell. www.readwithmalcolm.com. And I appreciate you coming on and letting the public know um, what you are doing and what is out there for us to be involved in. Yes, Kathy, excellent work, Ms. Purcell. And thanks again. And God bless you and Pat for taking this initiative on and running with it, not only thinking about it, but doing something about it. Again, thank you. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hey, did you know that the census is due this year on April 1st? And guess what? This time we can finally count as Caribbean. This year, all you have to do is 1. Check the race box, and 2. Write in your country of birth or ancestry. You can answer by the paper form, online, or by phone. Everybody counts in Census 2020. So count as Caribbean. Yes, we count.
Yes, welcome again to the show. And I just want to say a few words on what God says about hard times. And we are in hard times. Make no mistake, we are in hard times. It was extremely difficult for me to watch. And I know many of you out there have seen it. This whew, policeman's kneeling on Mr. Floyd's neck and hearing his cries. It reached deep into my soul that a man was treated like an animal, maybe worse than an animal. And even after they came, the ambulance came, they just turned him over, threw him on the stretcher, and took him to the vehicle. And that is unacceptable. 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 And so we have to call on God. And like I said a little earlier, what I notice the most is when you have the police kneeling and hugging the protesters and they communicating with each other. It's a start. Some of us, we don't know exactly what to say that you should do, but There are dialogues to be held, and we are calling on the leaders of this great nation to sit down and put together something that will help bring both sides together without the violence, without the looting, because that is not right. When you destroy the very essence of your community, and then after that you sit down and you're like, okay, I need to go to Target to pick up something, and there's no Target there. You have nowhere to go. The police station, the very station where all of the records are kept, which is necessary to get this thing done properly, was burnt down. And you tend to try to figure out, why don't we think, even though it's emotional, it's an emotional time, yes it is, but we also have to be smart, because we want to make our voices heard for the right reason. And so I'm calling on religious leaders, stand up, let your voices be heard. Let the people know that we are there, we are listening, and somewhere along the line, we will try to see if we can find some sort of way to have solutions, make some sort of recommendations. Joshua 1:9 says, have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be frightened and do not be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. Psalms 50:15, and call upon me in the day of trouble. I will deliver you, and you shall glorify me. John 14:27, and I'm giving you these verses because they are important. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I do not give it to you as the world gives. Do not let your heart be troubled, and do not be afraid. Deuteronomy 31:8-9 also tells us the Lord himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. That's Proverbs 18:10. My people, do not be afraid. Whatever happens, put your trust and your faith in God, because God is the beginning and the ending of everything. He knows, he sees, and he understands. And when we remember that he holds this world in his hands, he is the one who is going to end this whole thing. We are still in the season of COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm urging those of you out there who are making that stand for justice and for equality, protect yourself. Protect yourself while you're there, so we won't have a resurgence of this pandemic. I'm very concerned about that. And whatever happens, let us remember to turn to God in times of trouble, but also to be willing to stand when necessary. Be willing to take a stand, take a side. And so I am saying, don't forget to tune in on Thursday and Saturday mornings at 8 o'clock, and on Sunday for Plain Talk with Veron Richards at 6 p.m. May the grace of God and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit rest, remain, and abide with us all, now and forevermore. Amen. See you on Thursday morning. God spare our life.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started.
Everybody rise.
Rise with Dr.Zee.
Everybody rise. Wake up and live.
Rise in the morning. Your day just got started. Rise with Dr.Zee. Wake up and live.